caught my wife with 2 men, destroyed them, and got my revenge. Hey, I'm 33. Before I get into my story, let me ask you, what would you do if you caught your wife, someone you fully trusted, with 2 men on your marital bed? I met my wife Tracy when she was 29 at a movie premiere. I went with friends and she came with her girls. That night, sparks flew between us, and we quickly started dating. After a year, we got married. What started as a simple friendship turned into a sad love story of my life. At first, it seemed like marrying Tracy was a blessing. We were happy together, and I did everything I could to support her dreams and inspire her to be her best. The first 2 years of our marriage were strong. Tracy was kind, caring, and smart. She was everything I dreamed of in a woman: great cook, amazing character, refined personality, and, most importantly, honest. I admired her honesty above all. Tracy worked at a diner, and I was a graphic designer. We both earned decent money, but I covered most of the household expenses because Tracy spent her money chasing her dream. Before marriage, she shared with me her childhood dream of becoming an actress, but her parents never supported it. They insisted she pursue another career, considering acting unworthy. When Tracy confided in me and asked if I would be okay with her trying to pursue acting, I supported her. I had never become what I wanted, and I knew what it was like to passionately desire something but be unable to pursue it. So, I encouraged Tracy to join drama clubs, take on volunteer roles, and participate in projects that could bring her closer to her dream. We even planned for her to attend a theater academy when we had saved enough money. I supported Tracy because she was truly talented. Despite her occasional dramatic side, she acted brilliantly. Before we met, she had already taken a couple of courses and watched countless acting videos on YouTube. All of this showed how serious she was, and I didn't want to be the one to crush her dream. We delayed having children due to her plans for the academy, thinking we would have kids once she graduated. I was confident by then she would have landed great roles in plays or even films. I was the one pushing her to get involved in more productions, to showcase her talent and land bigger roles. I wanted nothing but the best for her. When Tracy asked if I was okay with her continuing to pursue her acting career, we were still in the first year of our marriage. Everything was perfect between us, and we never argued seriously. She was like a sweet peach, respecting and loving me. During our first year, Tracy frequently applied for volunteer roles, but received no responses. Eventually, she got discouraged and decided to focus on her new job. But I kept encouraging her to hang in there. Fortunately, a few months after our first anniversary, she got a response to one of her applications. She was invited to audition for a theater production, and Tracy was over the moon when she found out. I was thrilled for her. The best part was that the auditions were in the same city where we lived, and she had enough time to prepare. On the day of the audition, Tracy successfully passed and was given the role. She beamed with happiness when she told me. Another bonus was that they paid the actors, and rehearsals were mostly on weekends. I didn't expect Tracy to change so much once rehearsals started. The first few weeks, everything stayed the same. We got along well, and our life was normal, though we spent less time together on weekends due to her rehearsals. She would leave early, clean, cook, go to rehearsal, and return late. Though I didn't like the new situation, I didn't say anything. I didn't want to spoil her first big chance. Besides, they paid her more for weekends than she earned during the week. Over time, though, a distance grew between us. To keep busy on weekends, I played video games, met up with friends, or invited them over. I'd known my friends since school and university, so I trusted them. When I told them about Tracy's acting, one of my friends, Eric, advised me to keep a close eye on her. Rumors were circulating that some actresses slept with directors for roles. I dismissed his words, assuring him Tracy wasn't like that. I was wrong. After that, they didn't discuss her anymore but reiterated the advice to watch her closely. I ignored their words because I was 100% sure Tracy would never do anything to hurt me or ruin our happy marriage. But deep down, what they said stayed with me, and I began asking Tracy questions. When she noticed I was acting differently, she complained about my questions and how I was treating her. I had to apologize and tell her what my friend had said. When I explained everything, she just laughed and assured me she loved me too much to cheat. She said, You're the best husband in the world, and only a foolish and ungrateful woman would cheat on you." After hearing this, I felt at peace. I was sure Tracy would never betray me. If only I knew back then. She was just playing the part she was best at. She started cheating long before that conversation. In the following weeks, Tracy became unrecognizable. Words can't fully describe it. Our conversations became strained, and the excitement she once had when coming home vanished. Before, she would come home and tell me everything that happened at rehearsals. Even though I hadn't been there, I knew everyone she rehearsed with, their names, what they looked like, and their personalities. Tracy used to share everything with me. We were that close, and I always looked forward to her weekend stories. But suddenly, everything changed. Besides the growing emotional distance, Tracy became very defensive. She got upset by almost everything I said, even the old jokes that used to make her laugh. Now she saw them as attacks. Then she updated her wardrobe. She bought dresses that she only wore to rehearsals, and they were pretty revealing. I expressed my disapproval a few times, but she didn't listen. She said it was fashionable, and I didn't understand. At the time, I thought she was just trying to keep up with other actresses who dressed more boldly. I knew she liked competing in terms of clothing, so the last thing I suspected was infidelity. My doubts started to creep in when she began changing her hairstyle every week and was always on the phone with some guy she introduced to me as her co-actor. One day, she did something that really set me off, and when I voiced my frustration, she yelled at me and left. That was the first time she acted like that, and I immediately realized that something needed to change. Later that evening, I talked to my friends when they came over, and they told me that Tracy was definitely cheating on me. Despite all the signs and changes, I couldn't believe it. I had done so much for her. I argued with them, thinking that maybe Tracy was just going through a tough time and was lashing out at me because of stress. But my friends insisted that I was blinded by love, and if I wanted to know the truth, I should hire a private investigator. I didn't like the idea of someone following Tracy, but due to her drastic change in behavior, I agreed. The following week, I found an investigator online and hired him to watch her for 7 days. On the third day, when he was tailing her, Tracy didn't return home after rehearsal. The next day, when she showed up, she said she had been at a party for one of the actresses and stayed overnight in a nearby hotel because it was safer than going home late at night. The strangest part was that she hadn't told me about the party. I had called her until 3 a.m., and when she finally answered, she claimed she hadn't heard my calls because of the loud music. Then she lied, saying she had told me about the party, but I had just ignored it. I suspected she was lying, but I knew I would soon find out the truth because the detective had been monitoring her all week. I hadn't received any updates from him, and when he finally contacted me, I was out of town visiting my parents. I was already on my way back when he told me he had something to show me. Instead of going home, I went straight to meet him. Meanwhile, Tracy had no idea I was coming back that day. We had talked the day before, and I had told her I would be back on Monday morning because I wanted to spend more time with my parents, but I ended up returning on Saturday. When I met with the investigator, he showed me materials that completely shattered me and left me speechless. He had photos and videos of Tracy with some blonde guy who turned out to be her lover. There were pictures of them kissing in a car, walking through stores, dining together, and even a video from the night she supposedly had been at the actress's birthday party in the club and hadn't heard my calls. The video showed her with the guy the entire night they went to the club, and then around 10 p.m. went to his place, where she spent the night. This meant one thing. She had seen my calls but deliberately ignored them. I was in shock that Tracy had cheated on me. She seemed like the kind of person I could build a future with, but she destroyed everything. After the detective showed me all the photos and videos, he added that he had been watching her that evening as well, and now she was with her lover in my house. He had just left to call me. I was so angry that I wanted to smash everything around me. I was too furious to drive, so the detective drove me home. When we arrived, I saw a blue Toyota Venza in the driveway and immediately recognized it. That was the same car from the photos and videos. I realized that Tracy was at home with him. The detective suggested we go inside together, and I don't even remember if I agreed. The next thing I knew, I was in the house, opened the bedroom door, and saw Tracy with 2 men in the middle of something. I lost it and didn't know who to attack first. Tracy was wearing a transparent silk lingerie set. Her hands were chained to the bed. When they saw me, they tried to get up, but the handcuffs kept them down. I lunged at the blonde guy, and the other grabbed his clothes and ran off like a rat. Luckily, the detective came in with me and stopped me from doing something drastic. All this time, Tracy was still chained to the bed, begging me. She said I misunderstood everything, and that they were just rehearsing a scene from the play. Her lame excuse made me even angrier, and I wanted to strangle her right there. But I just left the room and told her to be gone by the time I got back. The detective told me he had recorded everything on video and handed it to me. I didn't know what to do with the footage, but I took it anyway. That night, I stayed at a friend's place. I was so ashamed. He was right about Tracy and her new acting career, but the most painful thing was that she had a threesome right in our bedroom, in our bed. When I came back the next morning, Tracy was still in the house. She hadn't gone to rehearsal, probably realizing what she'd done. When I saw her, anger overwhelmed me, and I kicked her out of the house, throwing her belongings on the lawn. She begged me, saying I was making a mistake and that I should give her a chance to explain. She stood outside for almost an hour, screaming my name, begging to be let back in. But when her fake remorse didn't work, she switched tactics, insulting me with harsh words and eventually left. This all happened last week, and only now do I feel ready to talk about it because since that day, I haven't been able to get myself together. I still don't understand how it all happened right under my nose. I wasn't some controlling husband who tracked every move she made. We shared the bills, and she did most of the housework. I always kept my emotions in check and never caused scenes. I say this because I've read stories about men ignoring red flags. Now, looking back, I realize I should have started digging when communication between us disappeared, and she started changing her wardrobe so drastically. But is that the point of marriage? To start suspecting your partner just because they buy new clothes or stop talking to you because they're tired from work? I don't think so. What frustrates me most is that she hasn't stopped calling me since. I keep thinking about the place and want to show that video to her director. Update 1. Hey everyone! Thanks for your comments. I'm glad you don't think my actions were too extreme. Some of you suggested finding out more about the second guy in the video. I did, and guess what? He's dating Tracy's director. The director is openly gay, and I can imagine how pissed he'll be when he finds out Tracy seduced his boyfriend. Speaking of Tracy, she came to see me 3 days ago, looking awful puffy from crying, eyes swollen, all miserable. Unfortunately for her, my friends were over at that time. They didn't say anything, but their looks and behavior really pissed her off. She was enraged that I was sitting with my friends and ignoring her, and she screamed, "So Mike, will you let your friends treat your wife like this just because of some small argument between us?" All that time, Tracy was begging me for forgiveness on the doorstep. I stayed inside, just listening. But when she shamelessly said that, I stormed out, ready to say everything I was thinking. My friend stopped me just in time. I was so mad, I was ready to get arrested for assault, and I wanted it to at least be worth it. Before leaving, Tracy threw a fit, talking about all our promises and how I swore I'd grow old with her. I was boiling with rage, but I couldn't do anything, even if I wanted to. After waiting a while and not hearing a word from me, she asked about the theater academy I had promised to pay for her. I wanted to go out and say, "Go ask your lover for support now," but I just wanted her gone, so I stayed silent. In the end, she left with her head down, having achieved nothing. I've already contacted a divorce lawyer. As soon as the paperwork is ready, he'll send it to her for signing. As for revenge, I'll do as you suggested. I understand that the director might not destroy her career with the video, but it will definitely ruin everything she's worked for in the last few months. The fact that Tracy slept with the director's boyfriend just strengthens my desire for revenge. Thanks to everyone. There will be another update soon. Update 2. Hey everyone. I'm writing this update with so much enthusiasm because things have turned out much worse for Tracy than I expected since the last update. It took me 2 weeks to track down her director online, and I managed to find him. He's just starting his career as a director in the film industry, but he already has a lot of promise. We arranged a meeting, and he actually showed up. He was intrigued when I mentioned that I wanted to show him something involving his partner and an actress. That day, I didn't waste any time. We exchanged some polite pleasantries, and I immediately showed him the video of his boyfriend, the same blonde Guyan Tracy. He was so disappointed and devastated that he started crying. No joke. He admitted that he suspected his boyfriend was seeing someone from the cast, but he didn't have any proof. He also mentioned that his boyfriend had cheated on him once before, but he forgave him because he claimed it was due to alcohol. Honestly, I wasn't too interested in that. What I cared about more was what the director was going to do about Tracy and her lover. When I asked how he planned to handle them, he said he hadn't decided yet. I told him that letting them go would be a sign of weakness, especially after Tracy betrayed him like that. Long story short, he fired both Tracy and her blonde lover. I don't know if he broke up with his boyfriend, but Tracy was definitely left with nothing. When she was fired, I felt a deep sense of satisfaction watching the fruits of her labor crumble to dust. I wanted her to feel what it's like to give everything to something, only to lose it all because of another person. By the time she was let go, the divorce papers were already ready, and my lawyer sent them to her. The day she received them, Tracy called me and begged me not to ruin everything we had built. I told her that she ruined everything the moment she thought about cheating. I told her that I was the one who showed the video to the director, which had destroyed months of her work. I knew she would freak out, and that's exactly what happened. She accused me of being jealous and said I hated that she could follow her dream when I couldn't. I just laughed because I realized she was trying to twist everything in her favor. And then I hung up. 2 weeks ago, she signed the papers, and now I'm writing this update as a divorced man. Yes, it hurts, but I'm glad she's no longer in my life. Thanks to everyone for your comments and support. So, what do you think about this story? Do you think such behavior is acceptable when someone has a creative profession? Yeah, I know most of you will say no. Of course, it's totally unacceptable. But think about it. A creative profession often requires inspiration, and people often get that inspiration through new relationships. How can an actress feel the sting of betrayal without actually betraying someone? How can she experience a new passion without having a new object of affection? Anyway, I can feel you all burning me with your thoughts already.